Hello, mamas to be. Welcome to my channel, the best place to practice yoga, both on and off your mat for your body, mind, and soul. Today's class is a breathe with ease prenatal yoga flow that's designed to support every stage or season within your pregnancy journey. I'm currently at 32 weeks in the home stretch and absolutely wanting and needing tools to breathe more easily so that I can support my energy as well as this growing baby. Now, a note on props before we begin. I am highly suggesting really erring on the edge of requiring 2 yoga blocks. We'll use these throughout the practice in various poses, but especially at the end for fish pose. So please, if you have them, grab them. And as you can see, I've also got a blanket strewn across my mat to provide some extra support for my knees. So I also suggest that as well. And you can substitute a towel if you don't have a yoga blanket. Yeah? So gather your yoga props. Please subscribe to the channel to support at-home free yoga. There's more prenatal classes here to support you. And I'll meet you on the mat to start this breathe with ease yoga practice. All right, welcome to your practice. Before we begin, I want to share a few facts around why it's so important to create spaciousness within the body and really focus on the quality of our breath. Now, this class was designed by a woman named Sarah Ezrin from Yoga International. You can learn more about her and this sequence in the description below. Now, over 70% of women experience shortness of breath early on in their pregnancy. And if you are a yoga practitioner, we are often very aware of our breath and the changes that are occurring. And the yoga tradition holds that the breath is the external manifestation of our internal life force energy or prana. So it's no wonder that at the very beginning of pregnancy, if you're feeling winded, it's because you are sharing that energy source so closely with baby as the placenta develops and comes fully online at week 13. I remember being so fatigued because you are sharing your life force energy literally with baby. The placenta then comes online and it's referred to actually as the fetal lungs. Pretty cool, right? However, later on in pregnancy, where I am in my journey, second and third trimester, there's something that happens called the great organ migration. Everything gets moved around to accommodate the growing uterus and this growing baby. And in that process, one of the key structures that gets moved is the diaphragm. So it really becomes compressed. And the diaphragm is our breathing muscle. It's located beneath the rib cage and it separates the upper and lower portions of the body. And so, as you can imagine, if our key breathing muscle is compressed, this is going to make it more difficult to breathe, and especially challenging as we near the end of our pregnancy journey. So, the other key thing to know, which is really cool from this article by Sarah Ezrin, is one of the key hormones in pregnancy is called progesterone. And it gradually increases from ovulation throughout our pregnancy journey. And one of its many functions is to be a respiratory stimulant. And what that means is it causes us to breathe more quickly, resulting in more breaths and more oxygen for baby. So while it can feel really, I know I felt really winded and kind of concerned, like, wow, I'm taking a lot of breaths. Once I knew this, it made much more sense, right? So in the beginning, we've got the placenta forming and we are being the fetal lungs. We also have progesterone, which is acting as a respiratory stimulant. And then we have the great organ migration that's compressing the diaphragm muscle, our key breathing mechanism. So there's a lot happening during these 3 seasons. And The best way that we can combat this is through movement and creating axial extension or length throughout our spinal column. And the calmer our breath is, the deeper our breath is, the less stress that we're feeling, and the more we can care for this growing baby as well as honor our own energy. All right. So I found all of that to be really interesting. And I always like to know, why are we doing what we're doing on our mats? And I hope that was helpful for you as well. Okay, let's get started with moving. So we're going to come into a kneeling posture, and I want you to have one block with you. This block, you can place it between your ankles, either on the lowest setting or on a medium setting. You choose between the ankles, and then rest your seat back atop the block here. Take a moment, feel the lower portion of the body grounding into the earth plane, tops of the feet, shins, knees. Permission to let a deep breath or sigh escape from the body. And really let that foundation support you here as you lift and lengthen up through the spinal column. Feel the side body or the waist growing taller as the collarbone broadens and the crown of the head reaches towards the sky or ceiling. Making that connection with your breath immediately as we begin our practice. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Steady, smooth, even breaths. Beautiful. And now, staying in this Virasana kneeling posture, sweep the arms out to the sides and overhead and hook the thumbs here. And then reach through the fingertips, really access that vertebral space. Reach, reach, reach as you continue to stay rooted through your foundation. Arms are straight. Outer arms are squeezing in towards the ears. Let the trapezius melt down. Continue to inhale and exhale here. Imagine that you're attempting to pull your thumbs away from one another while you're simultaneously squeezing the arms in, hugging baby close in towards the belly. And we'll stay for 10 breaths. So on your inhale, imagine I'm creating space. I'm reaching up towards the sky. And on your exhale, connect with the earth plane as you gently hug baby close to the spine. 10 breaths like this. Keep straightening through the arms, squeezing the outer arms in, reaching up, creating space on the inhale breath, exhaling to connect with the earth plane as you gently hug baby in. 4 more breaths. Last inhale together. And And exhale, release the hands, let them rest atop the thighs here. Notice, witness what already feels different. And sweep the arms back up. Take the opposite thumb clasp. You might need to take a moment to remember which one was where. And then reclaim that tall, regal posture and begin to take those steady, smooth, even inhales and exhales. Reaching through the fingertips, arms are straight, they're hugging in towards the midline. Inhale, create that spaciousness. Exhale, connect with the earth plane, connect with your foundation. 7 more breaths like this. You're doing great, mama. Last 3 breaths here. Every breath I take supports my growing baby. Every breath supports our energy. Every breath I take supports my growing baby. Every breath I take supports our energy. Last inhale. And exhale. Let the hands release, tops of the thighs. Roll the shoulders out. Let any tension dissolve. And just notice, how do you feel? What's different? Last breath here. And coming onto your hands and knees now for tabletop pose, cat-cow. This is a beautiful movement to do throughout your entire pregnancy. Wrists over, underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Come into neutral position first and push the earth plane away. Hug baby towards the spine. And on the inhale breath, you let your belly fall towards the ground, chest broadens, but instead of flaring the tailbone back, like we often do your best to keep the lumbar spine and the tailbone neutral, okay? So the low back is already quite unstable throughout pregnancy, and feel free to move through cat-cow as I talk here. So we want to mitigate that by keeping a neutral spine when we come into this spinal extension or back bend. So really reaching the tailbone towards the back of the room, and exhale to round and stretch the back. Hug baby up and in. Support the core. Inhale into cow pose. Exhale into cat. 7 more like this. Move on your own breath. Think tailbone towards the back of the room when you come into the spinal extension. Really take your time as you move dynamically here. Enjoy syncing your breath with the movement pattern. Last 2. Last 1. Beautiful. Walk your hips back towards your heels. Take a moment, notice. We'll definitely pause between each posture that we do. All right, if you have those blocks, place them towards the top of the mat. We're coming into low lunge, and I have them on the tallest setting, as you can see already. Feel free to put them on the medium or lowest setting and sweep the left leg around for low lunge. You're gonna wanna take a really wide stance to make room for baby. And as you get situated, we want the left foot really grounding in towards the earth plane. Sending the left hip back in space. And the right pinky edge toe is also rolling down towards the earth plane, connecting here. Left hip drawing back, right hip drawing forward, squaring the pelvis, and then finding a lot of length through the spine. We're here for 15 breaths. So a little bit of a longer hold. Make any adjustments that you need as we hold here. This is a really beneficial posture for unfurling and lengthening the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle originates right near the diaphragm. And the psoas muscle is deeply connected to our nervous system. So as we experience stress, the body curls inward in a fetal-like position like our baby does. And that causes the psoas muscle to contract. And it can absolutely then affect the quality of your breath. Keep pulling the left hip back, right hip forward, maintaining that pelvic stability. 5 more breaths. And option with these last 5 breaths to bring the hands to the thighs. And then reach the thumbs overhead, the arms overhead, and find that thumb clasp again. Last breath together. Smooth sigh as the hands release towards the earth plane. Sweep the left leg back. Set yourself up for the other side. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. That right leg comes around nice and wide depending on how big the belly is. And also just getting in this habit earlier on in your pregnancy and rooting down through the right foot, sending that right hip back, rolling the left pinky edge toe towards the mat and bringing that left hip forward to square the pelvis, choosing what height your blocks are on to support you and really gain that vertebral space so we can breathe with ease. And 15 breaths. The easier that you and I breathe, the more relaxed that we and baby can be. The easier I breathe, the more relaxed we can both be. We being ourselves and baby. The easier I breathe, the more relaxed we can both be. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, hug baby towards belly. Holding here or walking the hands up towards the top of the thigh. Reaching the arms overhead, finding that thumb clasp once again. Last 5 breaths. Strong, stable foundation to support you here. Last 2. And last 1. Hands return towards the blocks if they were lifted. Everyone sweep the right leg back. Hips go back over the heels. Take a moment. Hands to belly. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice if you're able to breathe with more ease. Last breath. Beautiful. Coming into fish pose, you'll need both of your blocks, and you can place your blanket off to the side now if you were using one. So back bends, for the majority of back bends, are contraindicated during pregnancy. So this is an accessible way for us to enter into a back bend, to experience that beautiful chest opening and also that spinal extension during our pregnancy. Now, if at any time you feel uncomfortable lying on your back here, slowly lift out of it and you can lie on your left side as we hold the pose. To set up for fish pose, Matsyendrasana, the first block is at the back of the mat or the front of the mat. Either way, your head's going to rest here at the tallest setting. And then lower to that is the second block on the medium setting. And as we come into fish pose, we'll actually keep our legs active and then the arms overhead, and then we'll rest and relax. The medium block is going to come directly across the upper back, right where your bra strap is. So slowly start to lower yourself. And this pose always takes some adjusting. Again, legs are going to be active to begin, so bring them together and slowly lower the head over the tallest block. And you really want it at that ridge where the neck meets the skull. And your chin will come down towards your chest, creating, like a double chin experience. Palms rest up towards the ceiling, shoulders roll open, and then zip up through the legs here. Send the thigh bones down, flex through the feet. We'll take 5 breaths like this. Last 2. Last 1. Keep the legs active, stay here. Option to bring the hands by your sides and overhead, only reaching the arms as high overhead as your ribs can stay knitted in, down towards baby's home. Once the ribs pop up, you'll know you've gone too far, and then bring them up just a little bit. So find that space. Reach through the fingertips and through the heels. Create as much length as you can. Notice if the ribs are popping up. Reach the arms higher then. 5 breaths here. You might feel some trembling in your body. I know I do. Last breath. If arms are lifted, slowly lower them. Let the shoulders open once again, palms face up, and reach the legs away from one another, wider than hip width distance. Let the feet flop out. Big breath together. Inhale. Sigh out the mouth. We'll hold here for 2 minutes. Allow the breath to completely relax. You no longer need to shape it or manipulate it. And if you're experiencing any low back discomfort, option to bend the knees here and keep the feet planted. Allow yourself to be fully supported by the props, the earth plane beneath you here. Allow yourself to be supported by your yoga practice, knowing that it can provide so many potent tools for all of the seasons and transitions that we navigate through. This is a beautiful practice to support yourself through these different stages of your pregnancy journey. Last 3 breaths here, knowing that you can always return to this posture. And bend the knees if they're not bent already. Lift the hips, send them over to the right side of the mat so you can roll onto your left side of the body. Take your time here. Use your left elbow and forearm to prop yourself up. And slowly make your way back up to a seated posture. Seated on a bolster or a blanket or that block. Practicing a little bit of alternate nostril breathing. That's incredibly soothing and balancing for your nervous system and energy. And again, is only going to help support both you and baby. So left hand can stay resting on the thigh. Right hand, fold the index and middle finger inward. We are needing our thumb and our ring finger for this breathing technique. So take a full inhale and exhale. Bring the thumb to rest atop the ridge of the right nostril. Exhale through the left nostril as you close right nostril off. Inhale through left. Close left with your ring finger. Exhale through right. Inhale through right. Close right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Continue like this for another minute. You might be moving at a shorter or more lengthened pace. No worries. Find your own rhythm, your own cadence as you guide yourself from left to right, right to left, closing and opening the nostrils here. The next time you exhale through the left nostril, release the right hand, place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Take a moment to pause here. Eyes are gently closed or softly gazing ahead. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart as you complete your final round of Nadi Shodhana. Every breath supports my growing baby. Every breath supports our energy. Invitation to say that with me. Every breath supports my growing baby. Every breath supports our energy. One more time. Every breath supports my growing baby. Every breath supports our energy. And sweep the arms out to the sides. Palms touch overhead. Hug those hands down through heart center. Inhale for Om with me. As you feel ready, slowly open the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I am definitely breathing easier, and I'm always complaining to my husband as I reach the evening hours that it's really difficult to breathe, and I feel so expanded and really engorged. So this will be a practice that I come back to as well as I finish up these last 8 weeks growing this beautiful baby. So please return to this practice too so that you can be supported throughout all of the seasons of your pregnancy journey. If you want to keep learning with me and dive deeper into my style of teaching, I invite you to download my Yoga Reset Guide. It is a 7-step journey through the chakra system to recenter your body, mind, and soul. It includes on the mat yoga asana classes, which you might need to save for after pregnancy, but it also includes energy aligning exercises, which are all meditations with mudras and mantras. And it includes self-reflection journal prompts and mantras and affirmations, all leveraging the chakra system to recenter your body, mind, and soul. So to get that Yoga Reset Guide, you can click the link in the description below. Again, thank you so much for joining me on the mat and in your pregnancy journey. I'm honored to serve and support you. I'll meet you back here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have an incredible rest of your day, afternoon, evening.